Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Wednesday, August 29th, 2018. I'm Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Happy birthday to my wonderful wife, Claudia. Here's a look at the ES in the daily time frame. Right here, what you'll see is price is holding at these highs. Very quiet price action as we head into the middle of the week here. Basically 2-day range that's very narrow. Look, if we look down here at the bottom right here and bring up a 2-day range, you'll notice that it barely registers on the histogram there. Only 12 points of range, because basically that was yesterday's range and today is an inside day. So not likely going to stay like that for a while. Basically we'd likely see a little bit more development up here. The path overall has been to the upside. One thing we talked about here is that for the most part we have this 28.78 as the key level there, the key range high. We may play up here for a while, but if there's any failure to hold that level, it could be this week, it could be next week, that could open up some selling pressure back down with targets at 27.90 and perhaps even as low as 2700. I don't see this really happening, but again, based off the key range and based off of rejections of certain levels, certain other levels start to open up. So again, this market has been on fire for the most part to the upside. Any pullback remains a buying opportunity. The next pullback into 28.78 is likely a buy, or even any push just below it is likely a buy for the first attempt at squeezing this thing much higher. But again, we could trade up here for a couple of weeks without new highs, and that could open up the potential to reverse back toward recent support. So just giving you some longer term outlook here. Right now, very quiet session, inside day, only 6.25 points of overnight range. That's 28% of average range. So very quiet right now at the moment for the ES. The NQ, very similar here. You can see uptrending behavior overall. We're at a cycle high, and right now a 2-day range that's very narrow. Only 19 points of overnight range. That's 24% of its average daily range. Very narrow. Again, after the recent squeeze, we could be due some sort of pullback here, but that pullback again could be very quick and gone before you know it, because all dips have been bought so far. So right now, very quiet action as we head into the Labor Day weekend. Now, taking a look at crude oil, you'll notice here with crude, this one continues to hold in a 3-day range, 3.5 day range, but it's starting to show some strength right now at the upper end of the range. It's rallied from 68.40 into 69s, the current last price, and we could be looking at an upside push here. You can see prices holding above the previous month's close right there. That's the blue dots, previous month's close, price forming a tight little range above it. So if there's any failure to hold above the top end of the range, say 69.30, then maybe those stops come out and we get another round of weakness. If price is able to push through the 69.35, call it, and hold, then maybe this range starts to really see a big time stop run day. So stop run day really starts to come to life above 69.35. Until then, we could be range bound, which means when we come up to the top end of this range, we could drop right back on down and then come right back up. So again, really expansion will occur outside of 69.35 and below 68. Until then, likely range bound, so look to fade new highs, fade new lows in the short term. Looking at Bitcoin here. Bitcoin had a big day up in the previous session, a major squeeze back above 6,700. As I mentioned before, if this thing were to close strong, which it did, any pullback now could be a buying opportunity for a continuation toward that 8,000 and CVPOC level. So we could be looking at more upside toward that zone as long as price can continue to hold. Basically, 6,700 would be the safest zone. Continue to hold there, and you continue higher. But overall, I mean, really it's that 6250 has been the last area of support, and then everything below 6,000 continues to be bid. So really this whole zone is very important, but in the near term, holding 6,700 opens up a move as high as 8,200. Lastly, looking at the YM. The YM has had quite a move since the recent rejection. The last time we really talked about a trade idea was here, when price had just retested the midpoint for the day. It was sitting just below 3-day highs, and I mentioned if we get a stop run day, we could be looking at a major move up. Based on this move, we could be looking at new highs, and price has done every bit of that over the last 2+ weeks. Now we're seeing a very, very tight 2-day range at these highs. 89 points is the current range for the day. It's been averaging 223 over the last 10 days, so again, very narrow. We could stand to see some sort of pullback, but given the current trajectory, any pullback still offers a buying opportunity. We're going to flip the page to September next Tuesday as we come into the trading room here, and in the markets you can see right now the way it's tracking, it's higher value on the pivot range, which means any pullback to start the next month could be a buying opportunity for another round of strength to end the month. So just keep that in mind. All right, that is it for now. Let's see how this plays out heading into the rest of the session. Good luck, trade well, and happy hunting.